Hi everybody, it's me, Waylene again, favorite talking head on YouTube, here to talk about all news worth talking about on this wonderful Monday evening. As usual, we're going to talk about stuff going on in and around Southeast Asia, and we got a good one for you today. I'm going to talk about Joe Biden. Okay. Joe Biden's making a trip to East Asia now, South Korea and Japan. And I thought that would be good to cover this topic. He arrives, and already his arrival in South Korea, what was this, May 22nd, just yesterday, was not entirely off to an auspicious start. I'll show you what I mean. Here's Joe Biden walking down the steps of Air Force One. Magnificent airplane. Safe from COVID. Right? As he walks down the stairs. And now, wait a minute. Joe Biden arrived in South Korea wearing a mask outdoors to walk downstairs. All by himself, and then immediately took off the mask to shake everyone's hands. Science! Woo! So, there you go. Joe, what are you doing? And then Joe Biden goes ahead to visit the troops over in this Osan air base, as I understand it. And here he is. Can you tell which one's Joe Biden?
Our two countries made each other, and the strength of the U.S.-European alliance. Our alliance is formed through shared sacrifice of the Korean War, and now, 7 decades later, thanks to you, the Republic of Korea, a strong, thriving, and innovating democracy, and our alliance.
He's just reading off a piece of paper because he has no teleprompter around, which famously, he just reads everything off teleprompter because he can't be relied on to remember his speech. And then later on, as usual, you go around the airbase, talk to the staff, raise morale. And here he took a group photo with everyone. Check it out. Look at that. Doesn't everybody look delight? No. Look at those faces. Like, that lady doesn't want to be there. This lady's not really keen to be there. She's not happy to be there. She's happy. She's not really not happy to be there. He's definitely not happy to be there. Neither is he. He's just happy to be part of the group, it seems. He's not really that happy. Neither is he. Neither is this guy back here. What is going on? Nobody is happy to see Joe Biden. Even his own countrymen, far away from home, and you're visited by the president. What's going on? By this time, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know that Joe Biden is actually as popular as rocks as president of the United States. He's just about as popular as a typical rock. Just say not very popular. Rocks, at least, they don't talk back. But Joe Biden, he did have a message for Kim Jong Un, and true to form, he has the exactly what you expect of Joe Biden. Joe Biden report here on CNN offers message for Kim Jong Un, and you might wonder what that message is. Right? Hello, Biden said when asked his message for Kim Jong Un. Period. What is he? Does this man even know how to diplomacy? Wasn't he all like, Donald Trump's gonna blow up the world? He's going to launch nuclear weapons everywhere and make enemies with everybody. And then the best that Joe, and so okay, Joe, it's your turn. Do your best. Hello. Period. It's just comical. And this puts me in the mind to recall the time that Barack Obama was in power. So you see, this is the news about Biden, the South Korean President Yoon, Why didn't you name him, right? Biden and President Yoon Mao expanding joint military exercises, blah, 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 blah. And then they had a line saying that Biden only touched on North Korea in his remarks on Saturday. Yes, yes. Literally, it's the least he could say. And some worry that the US could retain some days of strategic patience when Barack Obama waited for the regime to demonstrate it was serious about discussing his nuclear arsenal. At this point, I think it's fair to say that strategic patience is the best you can hope for, because you can't trust that anything Joe Biden says will actually be favorable to the situation. Oh, this is rather comical. And unlike when the previous, president, the Orange Man, terrible man, I disavow him entirely. When Orange Man was having a summit, with Kim Jong Un, China didn't do anything. They kept their peace. But when Joe Biden's in town, China's like, woo, we're gonna fly some planes around and sail our ships in our waters. Woo, we're gonna do some drills, shoot our guns, just to show President Biden that we got these nice big guns and we aren't afraid to use them. I hope you can hear them, Joe. Yeah, so there you go. But Joe Biden is a busy man. He doesn't really have. China's not afraid of him. So what? He still has to do his job, and he's going to build support, for whatever initiatives he has going. And he has an initiative coming up. 13 countries are to join the new Asia-Pacific Trade Framework, according to Joe Biden, who's now in Japan, and this was reported just today, this afternoon. So let's see. Joe Biden announced that 13 countries have joined the new US-led Asia-Pacific Trade Initiative, touted as a counterweight to China's aggressive expansion in the region. So they'll be launching what is called the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, IPEF. Right. Very boring, very wonkish, like, very something that a policy nerd would come up with. Asia-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. Right? It's a commitment to working with our close friends and partners in the region on challenges that matter most to ensuring economic competitiveness. Right? And how is this? Yes. Well, Channel News Asia reports that Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong has previously said that Singapore intends to join the IPEF. Wow. It's got to be really solid. 13 countries have already signed up. And PM Lee himself has said, he has already pledged to join. So, let's see. This is also reported in the South China Morning Post. Yeah. Joe Biden launches the IPEF, making an explicit goal of blunting China's clout. Wait a minute. So that sounds a little contradictory, because on the one hand, you're talking about having this framework for prosperity. On the other hand, you're making it really clear the goal is blunting China's clout. So is it for your partners, the benefit, the wealth, the development of your partners, or is it for constraining one particular country? Because I don't know if they are necessarily the same thing, right? Now it's at 12 countries. Wait, how that just went down by one. I wonder why. The countries include, here we go, Australia, Brunei, India, Indonesia, Japan, Republic of Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, as well as the US. Wow, great. Right. Okay, so during a virtual speech on Monday, the Chinese foreign minister also pledged to facilitate development of Asia Pacific. Right, so they're just going, we're going to do that too. Don't you worry. That's nothing. So maybe it'll be a great thing. Surely there should be some details about it, right? There's got to be something. Well, I looked up on Twitter, and what the best I could find was this a tweet thread by Mr. Mohammed Zishan, who was a columnist in Washington Post, South China Morning Post, etc. So professional journalist written in very credible publications, alumnus of the Columbia University, some kind of institute there, right? So what does he say? By all early indications, Biden's Indo-Pacific Economic Framework looks like a lot of fluff, watered down further in order to allow a protectionist India to join. So very, very mild. So what's it going to say? Is it going to say, we agree to sign on the same piece of paper? No, it's not that absurd, right? It'd be like, we agree to be more, to have more trade with each other. Okay. I guess that's a start, right? So he says Biden must be bolder. There's a huge opportunity for Biden today, bigger than Obama had with TPP, because China's locked down and many Southeast Asian economies are desperately looking for trade partners to haul them out of the pandemic. That's true, right? And great context. And kudos to Mohammad Zishan for putting this context on, because I think that matters. Maybe the US should engage with them rather than with bigger regional powers, right? In fact, across the board, maybe the US should engage better with smaller countries and pursue trade ties more aggressively. I agree. China goes to Sri Lanka, Solomon Islands, Djibouti, etc. Well, US goes to India, Japan, Australia. Focus more on military security issues. It's an imbalance, right? China's not afraid to take their time, befriend smaller countries and build things up from there. But the US doesn't seem like they have at least, right now, current administration just favors, going for the big ticket items. And so is this as watered down as is the IPEF in fact as watered down as Mohammad Zishan is saying? Well, let's have a look at this report from about 2 weeks ago, after the ASEAN US summit. Prime Minister Lee of Singapore had this to say. He said that the ideal situation is for the US to rejoin the TPP, but US domestic politics does not allow them to do so. So they've come up with the alternative, which is the IPEF. And he says, while there's not much substance yet in terms of investment and trade, it has shown its value from another angle, which is the very polite Mr. Lee's way of saying that this is useless. It has nothing going for it. It's a waste of time. That's just true. So what do we have? We have Joe Biden proudly launching the IPEF today in Japan, right? Announcing that 13 countries have signed on board. But at the same time, you have this very experienced and honest. I think by all accounts, everybody would view Prime Minister Lee as an honest man. He speaks what's on his mind. He may say it very gently, but it is not any kind of deception whatsoever. So we said that it has some value from some angle. It's the best he can say. So not looking good, Joe. Even though he flew all the way over to Korea and then Japan, and then the best he can show for it is something that other leaders think is kind of useless. Maybe it'll result in some, even a columnist for the Washington Post and South China Morning Post knows that there's a missed opportunity, Joe. All these countries are looking for trade, and then you couldn't give them anything, right? But there is a little bit, of a good account of this. Biden has said again today that he would be willing to use force to defend Taiwan, which is great news for Taiwan, and great news if you are in support of Taiwan. If you are not, and then well, maybe it's not so good, right? See, when a reporter asked if the United States would defend Taiwan if it were attacked by China, the president answered yes, which is in keeping with his, very succinct diplomacy to Kim Jong-un. Hello, period. Would you defend Taiwan? Yes. So, this is a bit of a problem for the government because there's always been this policy that they call strategic ambiguity. That is, we're not going to tell you exactly if we will defend Taiwan, what we'll do exactly, how many troops will we send, because we don't want China to be able to guess our moves, which is, exactly correct. Like, you wouldn't want to commit either way if you can avoid it. But it looks like Joe Biden has committed, right? Which is, I'm sure, is to the great relief of Taiwan, but not to I guess some people in his administration, they probably be kind of stressed because, on the other hand, as the United States, you want Taiwan to take with maximum seriousness the threat of China. So you wouldn't want them to overly rely on the United States. You want them to have this, be working as hard as they possibly can, to shore up defenses, to make sure that they are secure. If they have if you're giving too many assurances, there's a risk of complacency on the part of Taiwanese that, oh, well, Uncle Sam will come and protect us. Maybe we don't have to work so hard. So Joe is not, he's erring on the side of uh, instilling confidence for the Taiwanese, but that who knows whether that's the right play. It's that I think that's what he's doing though, right? And I think that he is willing to accept the condemnation coming from China, and maybe this is something that he needs to do because he is in Japan, and Japan is very wary of China, and they are worried about security in their area, and so by doing so, maybe he solidifies the position of the United States that we will get involved. We'll maintain security in this region, which might be a high priority for Korea and Japan, which is why he said that it's possible to reassure his allies. The last thing I wanted to show you is just a little follow up. There was this editorial in the Jakarta Post about the ASEAN-US summit again, which took place. When was it? May 13th or thereabouts, and this editorial was posted May 19th. So it's saying that we're kind of on the same page. The US wants to. The US and ASEAN are talking the same, singing from the same hymn sheet. They're talking about the same things they want, but they're not in the same boat because the United States is not geographically close to China, so does not necessarily have that threat hanging over their heads, right? So let's see, can I find something to state that? Yes, without naming China, the joint statement said that US and ASEAN are committed to maintaining peace, security, and stability in the South China Sea for maritime security and safety, as well as freedom of navigation, right? So that is a way to, tell everyone that we're going to band together and keep safe. And of course, everybody knows that this is in relation to China, which is the aggressor in this context. Now, why do you say that we're in the same page but not on the same boat? Well, see, the attention Washington lavished on ASEAN leaders last week was good while it lasted. More than anything else, the US still sees ASEAN as partners to help promote and protect its interests in the region. Yes. But ASEAN countries will continue to profess neutrality in emerging contests because, on the one hand, it is ASEAN countries are worried about China's moves in the South China Sea, but they also rely on China for a lot of trade. See, there we go. I think I saw that somewhere here. But yes, ASEAN has accepted China's growing power and tries to include rather than exclude Beijing in the emerging regional architecture. So, because China is extremely important, it's the largest trading partner for many of the countries in ASEAN. So, totally normal. They want to maintain friendly relations with China as much as possible, but they also want to be safe against any bad Chinese move that they don't like. So, but you see, after having this ASEAN summit, after having all these ASEAN leaders head to the United States, meet Joe Biden, hammer out all these joint statements, it seems like a very weak outcome, that an editorial in the Jakarta Post would still be so lukewarm about the outcome of it. It's like it didn't really achieve what it wanted for the Biden administration. They didn't get the confidence, it just feels that way. And everything that we've seen from the Biden visit to Korea and Japan in these couple of days, it just seems to reinforce that notion. The IPEF is weak. The ASEAN-US summit didn't seem to generate much confidence. It's just not looking very favorable for Joe Biden. As far as the Indo-Pacific is concerned. There are a whole bunch of other things we could talk about, but today is not the day for that. It's just going to be these few things. So that's about it. That's the prepared material I have for you today. Just kind of a single issue episode. Normally I cover a couple more topics. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like subscribe, notification bell, all the good things all around. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. It's always a pleasure to have to see the view count go up. Boop. So I appreciate you, dear viewer. Thank you very much. Talk to you again soon. Bye bye.